Today we're talking with Jackson Township Police Chief Mark Brink and Jackson Township Director of Public Works Rich Roan about the holiday travel season and winter weather on our roadways. Hello, this is Stark County Sheriff George Meyer. As the holiday season approaches, I'd like to remind everyone to stay safe and vigilant. Package thefts increase during this time, so consider having packages delivered to a secure location or ask a neighbor to collect them for you. Remember, safety is a shared responsibility. Let's make this holiday season joyful for all. Welcome to On Our Watch. I'm your Stark County Sheriff, George Meyer. Well, welcome, gentlemen. Thanks for taking the time to be with us today. We think it's appropriate that as we approach the winter months, we talk a little bit to our listeners about how the township prepares for winter weather and how the collaboration between the safety forces and the workforce that's out there keeping the roadways clean actually works in Jackson Township and actually throughout the county, but you guys are a great model for others to follow. Let's start off today with talking to Rich. Thank you, Rich, for being here.
Thank you for having me, sir.
We want to just highlight some of the concerns of, what goes into preparing for the winter season.
Right now, our staffs are, kind of prepping trucks. We're kind of converting over from normal construction projects with some of our larger trucks to getting our, plows on, salt spreaders. Guys are out actually doing their routes, making runs of their routes. We have, right now in the township, we have 18 routes with big trucks that our guys go through. Sometimes we don't get the big trucks through there, so we're taking them through, making sure there's no limbs, anything in the roadways, anything that we can catch. Curbing, different pieces like that. Our guys put up, the plastic poles to kind of give us guide markers and things like that. So right now it's, we're kind of sitting back, we're waiting for the first one to hit us.
So what you're saying is you kind of do a dry run.
Correct.
Your folks are out there doing a dry run, looking for hazards,
for sure.
Watching for obstacles that might be in the roadway, things that shouldn't be there are removed so that your men and women can be efficient as they clear our roadways and prepare for winter weather. Correct. That's great. We're really glad to hear that. From the law enforcement standpoint, as we start to approach the winter weathers, I know you guys have your own preparation that you do, getting ready, but how do you work collaboratively with your road department? What's some of the things that you guys work together on?
The really nice part is that we have a great working relationship, and we'll look at areas that we've had problems previously, people that won't move their cars during snow bans, that type of thing. We try to get that word out early so that when it's time to clear the roads, we're not trying to get around parked cars that shouldn't be in an allotment or a cul-de-sac that's going to cause a problem, and then we're going to get a lot of calls for that. So that part of it's the main piece that we try to do up front, is just letting the public know, hey, we're gonna, snow's coming, whether we like it or not, it's gonna be here. And just be prepared so that we can have a safe area for our road department to make sure everything's cleaned up.
Well, absolutely. They have a job to do. And I will tell you that I know you guys have a home rule related to parking bans. And I think it's good to talk to your listeners today a little bit about that. How does that work, Chief?
Well, if there's a prediction that we're going to have 2 or more inches of snow, we can put the snow ban on. Whether we get that or not, the cars need to be moved. And if you don't move your car, we can either ticket you, we can tow you. There's a number of things we can do. We don't want to do that. We want people to cooperate with us, just, again, to make it safe for everybody so they can get in and out of those allotments. The faster our plow trucks can get through there and not deal with that stuff, the quicker everybody's going to be able to travel on those roads safely.
Sure. Well, obviously, you're not looking to tow cars. You're not looking to ticket cars. You just want to make the road clear so that these guys can do their job, whether it's pre-treatment or whatever they need to do to make the road safe for everybody, for all users, right?
Absolutely.
That's part of what we want to do.
Absolutely.
Rich, tell me a little bit about pre-treatment. What do you guys, what's your effort towards pre-treatment when you know a storm's coming, the weather, temperatures drop? How do you prepare, bridge decks start to freeze up? What's your methodology for pre-treatment?
Right now, our foreman, our highway foreman, and our superintendent both have kind of thermometers in their trucks that actually road gauges, road temperature. So we do a lot of pre-trips. I mean, just with them guys running around, making sure we're there. We have, right now we can bring in I think 18 guys That's our full staff, actually plowing. But we have different things that we use like quads. So we run like a half staff that we will come out. If we see something coming, we might go out. We will throw salt down immediately to kind of, especially some of our hills, Traphagen right there, kind of going to Erie. We have some pretty rough areas. Arlington, Mount Pleasant area. We make sure our staffs are out there, kind of hitting those things up front, and then looping back around. And then we'll, once we see the storm coming, we try to predict. There's 3 or 4 of us that we sit around and kind of watch weather all year long.
That's what you do.
Exactly, during the winter, and we start making those calls pretty early and getting our guys in ready to go.
Well, it's good. It sounds like your team already know within the township of those trouble areas.
Correct.
And so you're really addressing them before they become a problem.
For sure.
For the township residents. So in the event of preparation for winter, how do you guys proactively inform the public? Say, for example, of snow bans. Be aware there's going to be, we could have snow bans as winter weather approaches. It's Ohio, right? We know there's going to be poor weather, winter weather, snow, ice-covered roads. So proactively, what kind of things do you guys work on to let the community know?
I know we work with the police department a lot. We do NIXL alerts, things like that. We use our Facebook, our websites, the media. We obviously push that out to the media as quick as we possibly can as soon as we see it's happening. Sometimes we play the game. We all live in Ohio. We know they forecast 5 inches of snow and we get 1 inch. Right. So we try to kind of see what's happening and what's coming across us. Right. Talking to other communities, to the north of us, to the south of us, to the west of us, east of us. Looking at seeing what they're getting, so we get kind of an idea. Sure. So it's a lot of communication. Not only with our staffs. It's ODOT. We're looking at ODOT. Cameras, pulling those things up, so we can kind of get a better idea on what's truly happening. Because as the chief said, we don't want to put a parking ban on and have everybody jammed in driveways if we don't need to.
Absolutely.
So we try to do our best to kind of work with our surrounding neighbors to keep.
Now, along
going.
with what you said, we could get a prediction for 5 inches of snow and only get 2.
Correct.
On the other hand, we could get a prediction for 2 inches of snow and get 5 or 6.
Exactly.
So you always have to be on your toes, and it sounds like you guys have a great plan in place to be prepared regardless of what the weather will bring us. And depending on the time frame of that, like how quickly we get the storm, really certainly contributes to how quick you can get things cleaned up, I would guess.
Correct, yeah. I mean, our routes are, like I said, we run 18 routes right now. It takes our guys, if we are salting and plowing, it takes us roughly about 4 hours to get through a route. So, in an 8-hour day, them guys are getting through twice. So, we see these all-day snows happening. It puts a toll on us.
Sure.
We have guys that are doing it. We're fortunate enough where we have another department, our Parks Department, which is under, kind of under the Public Works umbrella, that we can bring those guys in to give us a hand. We also have our mechanics and our building maintenance. But, when you're looking at the township and our snow control, we're not only looking at, just our roadways. We're also jumping into like the police station to help out there. We're helping out with our lots where we're going to have residents coming in.
Sure.
Our fire stations, we work very closely with, both of our safety forces to make sure if we do get calls, we can get vehicles out and get them to the right spots.
So you guys are making sure that the people that are out there to help the community, in an emergency can still do their job.
Correct.
And get to where they need to go. And I know that you feel good about that, right? Because,
absolutely.
Like me, the worst thing that can happen is our people be stuck in the snow or not be able to get to an emergency call. So having that resource and having you guys be aware of that certainly is a blessing, because unfortunately it's not always that way. It's really dependent on the storm that we're experiencing. So it's good that you're doing that. In the event of a severe storm, can you describe the coordination between you guys, how that would go? Let's say it's 3 o'clock in the morning. We've been calling for a storm, and your men and women are out patrolling the roadways. Maybe they're on standby. Do you notify them when the roads start? If you see roads getting bad, how does that work?
We do. It's up to our sergeant on that shift to make that call. These guys are usually out there before we ever make the call, though, especially when we're expecting a bad storm of any type. So we just make that phone call, and Rich gets his guys out and moving quickly. I know their goal is to have it so that if it's a school day, those roads are ready to go by the time those school buses are rolling and we have to start picking up kids to get them to school. Obviously, that doesn't always work out that way, the timing of it, but it doesn't take long for them to have their full crews in and ready to go.
That's fantastic. I will tell you, it sounds to me like there's a lot of communication between your department and the other departments, the safety departments within the township to stay ahead of any issues. Obviously, you can only plan for so much, but it sounds like you guys are working together very closely to make sure that you're meeting the needs of the township as it relates to keeping roadways clean and safe for motorists. And you mentioned there are school buses out there trying to get kids to and from school, so that's fantastic. Are there any special protocols in place to ensure that safety is a priority as it relates to your men and women that are out there cleaning the roadways?
I mean, I think the biggest thing we do with our guys is, obviously we come in, we do our pre-trips on our trucks, we look at everything like that, but we see certain things. If we know something's coming, we're gonna load our trucks up beforehand. We've done a couple things in the past where, for our guys, when they're out there, it's obviously, we really push to our residents and anybody coming through, or anywhere in the state. If you see that yellow and green light going, understand that those guys are out doing a job. We're not out there trying to hinder you. We're trying to make it safer for everybody. And it's really kind of stay back, give us that ability to do a little work.
Sure.
We get to intersections, things like that. We need to have room.
Right.
Them guys are in big trucks, and it's hard to see when you get right up on them. The mirrors. If you can't see the mirrors, you can't see them, or they can't see you. I guess.
I would think in the middle of a snowstorm or a snow squall, these guys are in big trucks. They're trying to do their job.
Yeah.
Some of their visibility is certainly hampered.
No,
Let's talk. I talked about safety tips. What's some things we can do? What's the public can do to make their job safer? Like, how far should we stay back? Should we pass you guys? What should we do?
Usually 50 foot. I mean, when we have signs on all of our trucks that ask everybody to stay back 50 foot. If they're working to an intersection, we get very cautious about somebody bypassing us. If our guys see you, they'll pull over to the side, they'll wave you, they'll hit their turn signal, whatever. So we try to hope, because when they're making a turn, we have cameras in every one of our vehicles right now, and it's we did a couple things with the PD, even showed them, with what our guys see, what our guys are actually seeing, and it's amazing. It kind of looks like a game, looks like Star Wars. I mean, it's just everything's coming at you with the blinking lights. So we do everything we can to obviously pay attention to see that. But when it's dark out, when we get a big snow, we don't know where the curb's at. So it's the best thing we ask is just give us enough room that we can, and then I think one of the biggest pieces that we've always talked about is, if that road says 35 miles an hour, that's in perfect weather. Obviously drive to that condition. You're going to save everybody. You're going to help everybody, and one accident's going to result in not only our drivers being kind of pulled back, but now we're pulling our police department, our fire department out for different things, and now we're putting more people on the road. That is another safety hazard.
Right. Create more of a hazard.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
And I know, Chief, that one of the things that you guys do is make sure that these guys are safe when they're out there. If you do have violations, your folks are looking into those and keeping these guys safe. Absolutely. As it relates to them doing their job. Yeah,
we want to educate the public where we can, but when people are just they're in a hurry. Nobody wants to wait on anybody, and we will enforce what we need to enforce to try to make it safe for everybody out there. And he hit the nail on the head. We need people to slow down.
Yeah.
Just slow it down a little. Clean your car off so you can see. I go to work, I'll see people, they don't even want to scrape the front window, more or less the side windows and the back window, covered with a foot of snow. It's just not safe for anybody, including yourself. So if we can do the little things to make it safe, it'll make it better for all of us.
Well, we want it to be safe. Hey, it's not an easy job, but serving your community may be one of the most rewarding. A career in law enforcement brings the new experiences and challenges every single day. We are looking for strong leaders to join the team at the Stark County Sheriff's Office. Deputies, corrections officers, clerks, and more. We train for excellence and we hire for character. One of our positions may be perfect for you. Stark County Sheriff George Meyer here with a reminder about the challenges of winter. As temperatures drop, ensure your car is winter ready with proper tires and emergency supplies. Always give yourself extra time to reach your destination. Keep walkways clear of snow and ice to prevent falls. We're all in this together. Let's ensure everyone stays safe and warm this winter. Thank you to our guests today, Jackson Township Police Chief Mark Brink and Jackson Township Director of Public Works, Rich Roan. We appreciate you being here and welcome back. And we're talking today about highway safety and public safety combined as it relates to winter driving and the hazards related to winters in Ohio, right, as folks use our roadways safely. Rich, I wanted to kind of segue into a little bit about what's a day look like for one of your drivers when they're called out for a snow emergency? Kind of walk us through that. And is that all, only you guys doing that? Do you have help? How does that all work?
No, our normal day is, I mean, we don't know when that's going to happen, obviously, with those things. I think as Mark alluded to, our police department is amazing, obviously with reaching out to us. I mean, there's days that we're watching the temperatures, we're watching the forecast, but there's them surprise storms that pop up on us. So the sergeant will reach out to, one of our staff, we'll get it, and then we have an all call that we initiate it, it kind of wakes you up really quick with all of our phones going off. So our guys will get in, depending on, we have guys that are half an hour away all the way up to, right around the corner. So as our staff rolls in, if the trucks aren't loaded, we start with that load process, once we're out on the road, and then, they're going at it. I mean, they're going full go. Like I, kind of said, it takes us roughly about 4 hours for a full go, full salt and ice. For salt and ice and for plowing. The guys will rotate back around. We stay on the job until we get it done. We don't leave, if maybe here and there we might have a little bit of pushback depending on like right along the curbing, but we make sure the center of that road's open. One thing with Jackson Township is we have over 1,000 cul-de-sacs in our, in our neighborhoods. So, a lot of times people, when you first move into a cul-de-sac, they don't understand our initial passes through is we kind of go in and we just do kind of the loop to kind of get them. So when you pull out, it looks like a road. You got to make a right to kind of go around. We'll come back. That's how we come back on the backside, and we'll clean the middle of that out. We want to make sure all the center of our roads are actually clean, for safe travel. And as the guys go through, we have obviously ODOT regulations and different things like that with OSHA where we have to get guys off the roads. We might give them a little bit of a break, but we'll pull them back in, or we can we have the fortunate ability where we can use two of our other departments, our parks and our maintenance departments, which is our mechanics and our building maintenance guys, that they'll roll out into the trucks if we need to.
So during a longer snow emergency, you're going to be rotating people then.
Correct.
And so that's kind of a non-stop process. You just keep the wheels turning, if you will. Yeah. You talked about cleaning the cul-de-sacs, and you said we make a circle, we go through the circle and we open it up first. And it made me think of traffic circles. It's very similar to a traffic signal. You just kind of have to find your way around that traffic signal where the circle where the roadway's been cleared to get to your destination. And how many miles of road do you have in the township?
Right now we are seeing about 213 true miles. So if you look at that, that's not lane miles. So you could double that for lane miles, but then you look at certain areas where you have 2 to 3, 4 lanes. It keeps growing. That puts us as the #2 township in the state of Ohio. Wow. So we have a lot of roads. I mean, it's a lot of stuff. And when you're looking at our roads, within the township, a lot of the main big areas, Wales Road and State Route 241, which is a state route. We have a lot of county roads in there too. So Portage, Strasser. And as those things go through, so a lot of our miles are within our neighborhoods. So that puts a lot more pressure on our guys because it's not just a straight run. We're working around corners, we're working around cul-de-sacs, we're working around islands, different things like that. Right. So it's a lot more, a lot of finesse work that we have to do with the tail end and opening up intersections. Sure. Now we're fortunate enough where we have really good relationships with both ODOT and the county that we work together. We get into certain intersections and we'll push back, they'll help us out, and there's usually calls being made between, either our foreman, our superintendent, myself, to the county engineer's office, or to ODOT's drivers. We have a great, which we couldn't do it without everybody working together.
Well, I know speaking for the community, I know they're really happy to hear that you guys are working together because it's a big job. Yeah. And when a snowstorm event comes, or a winter storm event comes, it takes all hands on deck.
Oh, for
it
sure,
really does. Sure. You mentioned a little bit about ODOT, Ohio Department of Transportation, and about the county transportation. let's let our viewers know why are they in the township? What are they doing?
We are a township. It's unlike a municipality like a city. They have jurisdiction. We are. When we look at different intersections, we have state routes. When state routes enter a township, they are the responsible party. When we look at, really our big two in Jackson are, for the Ohio Department of Transportation would be Wales, pretty much from the Masson line south, Hills and Dales area, all the way to the Green Line, and then Fulton, which runs from the intersection of Wales, right in front of our police station, all the way out, pretty much to the Plain Township, to St. Mike's, Whipple, kind of over in that neck of the woods. That is all ODOT. They take care of those. Now, then we have a lot of our other a lot of Belton Village is the county. The Stark County engineers take care of a lot of that.
The county roads.
For county roads. Yeah. So we do work together. We have to, because we're crisscrossing each other. We'll look at different areas and we'll see issues. We'll throw salt, we'll plow off. We're not going to just drive by and leave our plows up. Sure. And they do the same thing, which is
Absolutely.
very good.
And that's great. The working together is fantastic. You talked about salting the roads and putting salt down. And so, with your pre-treatment, do you use salt? Do you use brine? What do you guys use?
We are 100% salt.
100%
So
salt.
we have explored options, with going with more or less the green salt, which is the brine mixed in, different things like that. Last year, if we all remember last year around the Christmas holiday there, we went to them sub-zero temperatures. Salt has a reaction time. It's usually right around 15 to 20 degrees where that's its key area. When we start getting into them sub-zeros, salt takes more time, and it's we might back off a little bit of our plowing and not get it, and leave a little bit of a hard pack so we can put the salt down, because what will happen is the traffic, and then the traffic will actually start activating that as the heat kicks on. So then we can go back and kind of peel off, if that makes sense. Yep.
So a lot of procedures associated with keeping our roadways clean in Jackson Township. Chief, I know there's a couple things that I want to kind of talk about. One was, how do your guys get around in their cars? I'm sure they experience the same problems other drivers do as it relates to the roadways. And so, what do you do to prepare your folks?
Well, you're exactly right. We're driving the same kind of vehicles for the most part that the public drives. Fortunately, now we have the SUVs that are all-wheel drive. We've gone to those exclusively in the township. Back when we started, it was the old two-wheel rear drive, and you hoped you could get where you needed to be. So it's much safer for us, but it's the same thing. Slow down, take your time. Even an emergency call, we're no good if we can't get there. So take your time getting where we need to be, and we really emphasize taking care of the vehicles as far as making sure we clean them. Before the shift that's on, we'll take care of that next shift's vehicles to make sure they're ready to go, because we don't control the clock when the calls start coming. Right. Sometimes you walk in the door and they're waiting on you. So those vehicles have to be ready to go, but we're trying to make sure that they're all cleaned up, heated up, and they're ready to go when the guys get there.
Well, that's great. I will tell you that that's also a challenge in working with these guys to make sure our folks are able to get around as well. And so it's good to know that you have a plan in place to make sure your folks can get to where they need to be when an emergency arises. The other thing is, Chief, whenever there's a snow emergency, we all in law enforcement experience this. It's like everybody's first day at driving school when the snow hits and they slip and slide and they lose control, probably because they're going too fast. And so you're bombarded with what? Traffic crashes. And so your people manage that, but without these guys, just imagine what it would be like if you had to handle, that volume of crashes. These gentlemen really do help us. The road department helps us with our mission to keep our roadways safe,
right,
because they truly do contribute to safer roadways and less traffic crashes. And I think it's really an invaluable piece of what you do for us. You talked about the number of roadways, 211, right? 211 miles.
211, 212, we're right in there, right that next one.
That's enough.
That's enough, exactly. They can cut back.
Do you know how much salt you used last year?
We were right around, I want to say, 6,000 ton? I want to say somewhere right in the neck of the woods. We have we run a count every year, and that's how we base our orders every year.
Now, Rich, I know you say you sit by the weather radar and you watch what's going on.
Yeah.
How about the almanac? Do you guys look ahead and say, well, what's this winter going to be like? Let's keep our fingers crossed.
We do. I mean, that goes back to my previous career even, and different things. We'd look at it and see what happened. We're in Northeast Ohio. It's a guessing game sometimes where, what truly happens and what comes down. I have alerts on my phone for communities around us where my daughter's in college up north a little bit where, I know what's hitting there, what's coming at us a little bit. So we watch it, but yeah, the almanac's there, but
Yeah, good old fashioned. Be prepared. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You have to watch all the time.
Like you said, sometimes we over prepare and we really don't get. Thank goodness we don't get what they say we're going to get. Sure. But fortunately, you are prepared, and that's a good part of it. I wanted to ask you, how do you share? Could you share? Each of you share real briefly a significant lesson learned in what we do.
Go ahead.
For me, what I see is we can't have a snow be the first day of driving every time it snows, okay? We've got to learn from the past. Slow those cars down. We have a snow day, and school cancels. The first thing you see is kids out in the cars going to the mall and wherever. That's not why we cancel school, Right. Try to keep the roads clear so these guys can get through and do the job that they need to do because it makes it much easier for them.
Rich, I think he answered it for you. I think that's well said. I don't think we can do any better.
No, that's perfect.
Hey, to our guest today, Chief, thank you for being back. Rich, thank you for being here. Chief Mark Brink, Jackson Township Police Department, and Rich Roan, Director of Public Works. We thank you for being there. And to our community, thank you once again for tuning in. If you have a question or comments about this show or past shows or topics you'd like to see discussed in the future, please send an email to onourwatch@gmail.com. I'm your Stark County Sheriff George Meyer, and this is On Our Watch, where we are working together to keep Stark County safe. Hello, this is Stark County Sheriff George Meyer. As the holiday season approaches, I'd like to remind everyone to stay safe and vigilant. Package thefts increase during this time, so consider having packages delivered to a secure location or ask a neighbor to collect them for you. Remember, safety is a shared responsibility. Let's make this holiday season joyful for all.